It's after 7. This is the September 13th meeting of the Shelter Island Planning Board. As always, the first thing we are doing is reviewing the prior meeting minutes from August 9th. We paid a few bills. We passed the white amendment to the amended resolution subdivision and passed a resolution for the SH 29 Westlake LLC final lot line adjustment. We also reviewed our budget for 2023, which that has been since forwarded to the town board. The only thing I've seen on this is one slight typo. The Shelter Island reporter is Julie Lane, Lane. That's just minor.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see anything on this?
No, everything else looked fine.
So I make a motion to accept the minutes of August 9th. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Coco, can I try you to switch the view?
Yes.
Thanks. So next thing, we have a bunch of correspondence. I'm not going to read through all of it. There are copies of the correspondent list through anyone wants it. A lot of it has done with the White subdivision, which we were able to conclude, and the town was able to conclude their purchase about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We got a new wetlands application for Tuttle Drive for the churches. And there was another Crescent Beach LLC, Carlino off of Serpentine Drive as a wetlands, and a special permit application, which we received. And another one on Thompson Road for Cummings Svenby wetlands application. We've received a few bills. So let's look at the first bill for the Rayner Group. This one was for the month of August, total $487.50. It was mostly work on the White application, reviewing their SWIP, reviewing legal documents, and it was 3.25 hours. So I think the $487.50 is money well spent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Or actually, I say, sorry, let's do this correctly. I'll make a motion to accept the invoice. Have a second.
I'll second for every reason.
Aye. Great.
Aye.
And we have an invoice from EHA, again for the month of August, and $4,295.56. 100% of this is with the White application. And Beth spent 15.25 hours on this. And without her help, this would still be floundering. So
Yep.
I make a motion to accept the EHA invoice in the amount of $4,295.56. I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A lot of work,
Well done.
but it's done now.
So it's done.
Yeah.
The sale is done.
The sale is
Track
done.
is closed, yeah.
So it's done. They still have to put in the road, the short road.
Yep.
And the town, work with the town on signage, and then the maintenance, parking area and maintenance. So hopefully that will go smoothly. That ends our, just as a note, there's a second bill on the agenda that was, should not have been sent to the planning board. It was for another department in the town, so we are not going to act on that. That ends the business meeting. We have a few ongoing applications. The Bloom minor subdivision, they're waiting on health department sign-offs, and they have currently until 10th of January 2023 to submit a final application. Kasich minor subdivision, we're just waiting on the filing of the final plat, and I know they're working on that. Robert subdivision, I haven't heard anything new on it. I should check with Matt. They were trying to work on health department issues before coming back to us, and hopefully that's in process. And the SH29 Wet Snack LLC lot line adjustment, we're waiting on deeds. And I'll have to get completion dates, expiration dates for those, but I think they each one has 60 days from last month. So we'll have to follow that. So the only thing that remains left on tonight's meeting are the current wetlands applications and one special permit. So I know Julia here. She and I met at Serpentine Drive, and we looked at the property and the project, and from 2 points of view. One from the wetlands, and which seems fairly straightforward. They're really only getting a wetlands approval, or need a wetlands approval for, I don't know if you guys saw the big plan on this.
Yeah, I did.
And this is a blow up I'd made of it. They have the pond across the street and then the bay. And they're really looking for wetlands approval. Here's the 75 for the apron and the driveway. And here's the 100 for a little bit of parking and a little bit of driveway. And they're proposing an asphalt driveway, but the code permits that in the Nearshore Peninsula overlay if you have stormwater capture and recharge, which they are providing. The other thing we just want to, I think we're going to put into the report, and I know Julia's drafted it, but I haven't had a chance to look at her basic or draft, is that we're worried about them wanting to clear in here, and you're really not allowed. This is between the house and the water. We really don't want them to clear anything they're not allowed to. You're allowed to do some vista pruning, but I think we need to write that into the statement. They have something weird on here, proposed wall pilings for construction. Not quite sure what that means. And then they have these 4-foot tall retaining walls. Again, my understanding is that the town only permits they're 6 foot tall. The town, my understanding is the town only permits a 4-foot tall wall, and we're going to need some clarification on that. The other funny thing is this was part of the SWIP, and they're showing a construction staging and parking area, which is on a slope.
Right.
And they're showing a gravel ingress, these gravel construction pads, so there's no mud going onto the road. But I think if anyone's going to use this area, they're just going to pull in this way. This is not really feasible. There are also a lot of very nice old trees in here, and I want to make sure they're not going to be cut out, or we had a better understanding of what is being. Are they going to excavate this area? How are they really going to make this work? So I think we need more definition on this. I have some markings. That's approximately, if you go down there where the 15-mile-per-hour sign is, yellow sign, and then the next set of poles to allow you in. So that was one of our concerns.
Walls can be up to 6 feet. It's in resident district, can be 6 feet on rear or side yard.
Okay.
And it's a fence or wall and a front setback, no more than 4.
Okay. You heard that, Meg, right?
I did. 6.
Okay, so 6 is fine now,
Yeah, according to the code.
as long as it's engineered correctly. So that goes back to your other,
Yeah.
Yes, it's not correct
Yeah.
yeah.
originally, but
No, but then even that other project can't be more than 6.
Yep.
correct. Yes.
That's why, as long as it's in a resident district, which I'm assuming it is.
So as far as our wetlands preview, we got some questions about this. It's minimal here. They're adding enough retainage. They're gonna have, this line represents the wire back sill fencing. I think that's an appropriate location. I'm just a little confused about the extent of what's gonna be cleared or not. We're just reviewing,
I was listening, I just was driving.
well, thanks for coming in. I
No
didn't-
problem.
I don't know if you have any other comments then regarding that?
Yeah, getting back to the Crescent Beach
We just
LLC.
clarified that 6-foot retaining walls are okay per code.
Right, that's what I had written to you this afternoon. It's only when it's on the side lot, setback.
Front yard.
Sorry, front yard setback,
Setback.
it has to be 4 feet or less.
Yeah. And if it's you can actually go up to 8 if it's enclosing a garden, but
That's a fence.
it's a garden fence, yeah.
That's not a wall.
Yeah.
When I talked to Reed, he said you could just consider it like you do fencing, like they pretty much put retaining walls in the same category.
Okay, I just know that on the King application, the ZBA started looking
Right.
at it differently, and then subsequently, the building department had looked at it differently. It seems like they're reverting now to what's in the
Yeah.
code.
And did you also add about the staging area?
Yeah, we just talked about what's gonna be cleared, whether it's gonna be cut.
Okay,
It clearly doesn't make sense,
but also the pitch of the land, it's.
Yeah.
Okay.
whether it's gonna be cut
Yeah,
for and
okay.
regraded and that, so.
And I heard you mention about the beachfront and no clearing.
Beachfront, no
area,
clearing,
The woodland. and-
There's a very nice little knoll here that actually has like grass almost right now, but there's other areas that are a little lower scrub brush, and I could see them wanting to clear out more, right, so they have their own private beach and areas, but we really have to focus on, pointing out that they're not really allowed to do that.
Yeah, that's in the paper I sent you today, so.
Yeah. Thank you.
We don't want to see, no trespassing signs on the beach and, that kind of stuff that we see.
Yeah. In our first review for the special permit, and I brought this to various people's attention, but not fast enough. We just started looking at it last Tuesday in the late morning. And then there was a public hearing in the evening where they set the public
Yeah, we set the public hearing.
Hearing. But the application doesn't include the special permit form, town form. It doesn't include any of the required plans or elevations. It submitted a lighting plan for dark skies, which means to me, I know that Ed Hollander's the landscape architect. It would, for the wetlands permit, it would also be good to see what they're proposing, and that would give us some idea of what they plan around the water from the house. Clearly, the landscape architect's on board, they just haven't submitted a plan, so we should add that to the.
I think we got an addendum to that original submission, so let me just see if it just didn't get handed down. Amended wetlands application.
In regard to the special permit, if you read the attorney's cover letter, he doesn't mention the town form, and he doesn't mention any plans or elevations.
It's mostly the special permit, right? Not-
Right, the special permit is pretty much, it's not complete.
Alrighty.
So that was Carlina. The next one we have in front of us is Cummings Svenby. I know you guys, you want to describe it quickly?
Did you get a chance to look at our
I didn't get, I got the updated plans that they gave
Oh, yeah,
me
yeah,
PDFs,
right,
and
right.
I've sent them all around, but I haven't had a chance to look at them. Do you want to just give us a,
Me and David, David and I did this. When you first look at it, it looks really, really complicated, but that's because of all the ZBA stuff, which is already, taken care of and not in our purview. Basically, what they want to do is they want to replace 3 retaining walls in the 7 to 5 foot regulated area. It's very steep, and they're pre-existing probably, same year as the house built, which was 1959. So they need replacing. They want to do a dock, which is also outside our purview.
that's town board wetlands,
And-
dock permit.
And then partial wooden pathway out to there, which we allow.
Are there stairs on the slope? I'm sorry.
There are, yes.
They're ready, so they're replacing it,
There's
right?
some existing, this one thing goes all the way, it's very steep.
It's very
And a
steep.
lot of it's rotted out. So it's more like there might have been more stairs, but it's been kind of it's been overgrown, but there was stairs at one point. And definitely the existing retaining walls are rotting out. So it's good that they're doing this.
So it's holding up erosion, which is our mandate. So in the adjacent area, they want to put in a swimming pool and a stone patio.
Yeah.
And right now, where they want to put the pool is a big slab of concrete. And so that's already impervious and
And are they gonna update the sanitary system?
yes, they're
Yeah, they upgraded to an IA.
doing an IA system into a new pool.
Yeah, outside of, and moving it outside.
We got
Closing down
permission
the
for
lines
that.
inside the adjacent area.
Stormwater dry wells for roof capture?
That was written in our
That was in our
recommendation.
recommendations.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll take a peek at the actual draft, but it seems like
It's fairly, the only thing, I think was that I think they're doing impervious, not clear what they're doing, a stone.
It looks like a stone patio, and in the middle of it, there's a dry well, so we're assuming it's impervious.
okay.
So that we wrote into the thing, a question about that, so.
I know in the past, even on my own projects, the town board I had a brick patio set in sand. And the town board had asked for perimeter stormwater collection and recharge to a dry well. Could be something along those lines.
Yeah, I think we wrote a note about that in our draft, I think, with an assumption.
Yeah.
Your experience.
Okay, let me take a peek at
Yeah,
it.
so these are the 3 retaining walls here.
And this is that.
Okay, and then
Is this the same size as it was before, or is it an expansion?
It's a slight expansion on this side.
well, right now, there's no pool, and right now, this is all concrete. Here's a big
Yeah.
concrete slab. This is all grass.
Okay,
So this side is grass, this side is the concrete.
Where's the part where you have this well right in the middle, you said?
Is it here?
It's right in the middle of that grassy part?
No.
So which one?
Well, the one you just mentioned, there was this.
The dry well is going to be right in the middle of the stone. Right now, the leach pools for the septic are here. You're gonna move those up here,
okay.
which is about 70 feet from the well or so. But they got the county approval for
So in your mind, the stairs exist in this current location?
Not exactly, no. You can hardly see them because it's kind of like overgrown.
It's like this part here, this part you definitely can see and down, but then this walking path, it looks like there might be something there, but there's nothing.
It's hard to get
It's
down
so-
there and maintain it because it's so incredibly steep.
Extremely steep. So, because again, it's going from like 34 down to 20, like very quickly. And there is a pump house down here currently, it's in pretty bad shape.
So the closer the contours are together, the steeper it is.
Yep.
It seems here, where the stairs are, and there's a lot of stairs, it's fairly open compared to where this pathway is. And so where the pathway's drawn, it's the steepest.
I think because it's going on an angle, if you get more distance if you're going this way, if you're going straight down, it gets short and it kind of alleviates that
Okay.
dive, I think,
Bluestone stepping stones at grade. Are they gonna go on a base?
I think this is the question I wrote, which is like, what exactly this is was a little unclear in the application.
So this clearly is an expansion of a patio and pool.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look at your graph and,
Yeah.
and thank you guys for putting that together.
Sure. And it is all in the, it's in the adjacent, part of, a lot of the expansion is not in the,
In the adjacent
it's
regulations.
outside of the 100 feet,
Oh, okay.
right? So the 100 feet goes here.
Right.
So this all expansion here, so it's really the actual amount of expansion is relatively minor because it's outside of the,
All right, that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. I knew there's a
What's the
reason.
status on the dock again? Marcus, you said that,
That's.
There's no dock, they don't want to put a dock there.
Oh, there's no dock currently.
No,
that's what I thought there was.
Yeah.
they got approval from the Army Corps of Engineers. and-
DEC, New York State,
Yeah.
and the Army Corps, so three of them that
Yeah.
Department of State, New York State Department of State.
That's nice.
Okay, church, did you guys go take a peek at that one?
Yes.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple of questions I think we're working through.
Working for me.
You saw the previous report.
Yeah, so the previous report, I think there's nothing in it that is, mainly, I think, the only issue is some square footage confusion. But it's not, it won't actually probably, whether it's exactly right or a little off, or it's not going to change, it doesn't really change. It won't change our recommendation, but we're trying to figure out how they got to where they got, because what's in the ZBA approval, the amount is different. It was supposedly only an 8 square feet addition, but actually it's more than that. So I want to make sure that it wasn't misrepresented to them, or so that's why we're trying to dig through like what the actual numbers really are versus what was said. And so it might be that worth the conversation
Yeah.
with Phil or somebody on the ZBA to make sure.
I think there's an overhang over the foundation,
Mhm.
and that's where they got part of the ZBA number from, is just that overhang. I could be wrong, it's been a while since.
The
Yeah.
facade part, the stone facade,
Yeah.
that's what I was texting you tonight.
Yeah.
I think that's part of what they.
But the actual number, I'm not sure they're worrying about a living area or actual square footage, because the actual square footage is more, and it's like 50 square feet more. So
Yeah.
the actual square footage, but the reality is it's not consequential, because it's all already covered by a second floor. So there's no change in water runoff. So actually, it isn't consequential to a wetlands permit. It's just, we were trying to understand just understand it better.
Like basically, there's not much being done, we're not yet.
Yeah, and so I think we just wanted to get that straight, and then.
I think it was just what they went for last time, and then they made some minor adjustment, and then they had to come back and correct that minor adjustment.
Yeah, and so I was gonna write it up this week, and we'll get a draft out.
Okay.
We just had some last little details that I looked over today, so. And then the only other question I wanted to ask Meg about like in terms of, so they're taking the enclosed deck, kind of making it into another living space.
Right.
Does that count that doesn't count, because the septic they have right now can handle 3 bedrooms. So does that trigger anything for them, or are
They
they
have
still
a health
under?
permit to upgrade to an IA system.
They're gonna have.
They
to.
just received the health
Oh.
permit.
So-
That's not in here.
Yeah,
Okay.
when the town board received our application, it included the health department red stamp permit to upgrade their septic system to an IA for.
Because that wasn't in any of our.
How do we get a copy of
Yeah.
that? Do you have a
Just
copy?
thinking that.
I don't have it with me, but we
But
can.
no, did they send you a PDF of
They
it?
sent us, no, a hard copy. It came in the town board's hard copy application, so.
Because the
I'll
concern
figure
I
out
had
if
was
it
that.
came in later and they stapled them to them before they
Yeah,
gave it to
mainly
us.
because they ended up, one of the part of the expansion was before it was a toilet and a sink, and they expanded it out to a shower. So basically,
Now it's like-
even though
Now it's a bedroom,
it's
yeah.
really,
Yeah.
they're not calling it a bedroom, but it really is. So we wanted to make sure that actually, the fact that they're doing
As long as
an
it follows that guidance memorandum, which I showed to you guys,
yeah.
then it could have, you can have a shower off an office.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that.
Right.
As long as it follows that guidance memorandum.
But we did receive a red stamp permit for that upgrade to the sanitary system.
Was that Matt?
You know, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to review this application yet, but I will find a copy and send it out.
Okay, I mean, if it's Matt, I could just ask him for the PDF of it.
It probably was.
I think he did the prior work for him.
Yeah, so then it probably is.
Great, so I'll get that, and then that'll make the drafting even easier. Because that was the one kind of like question, so no problem. But we should get a draft out of it this week. That's the only other outstanding one, right?
The one I brought in was Townsend, and you've already had the public hearing on,
No,
you said it.
okay, so,
Was Townsend the one they've adjourned?
yes, we adjourned all of them. But Townsend was adjourned without a review because we didn't get the CAC recommendations yet.
Okay.
So that, we pretty much opened and adjourned.
You saw my draft, though, our drafted letter. So there are missing stuff that's typical of a wetlands application, a site plan with 2-foot contours.
Okay,
We do require that of all people, and I think that was important because we couldn't really understand
That's one we did.
the water. There's actually a berm between the water and the house, and they're showing planting plants on top of the berm. That doesn't make sense. And that the water seems to us that it would flow all over to the town landing and then enter the creek that way. And that's why we suggested maybe a slight swale or extension of a berm over there. Maybe that's more of an appropriate place for these plants than where they're proposing them. And there was something else that was more typical of, again, the FEMA lines that should be on there.
okay,
But they're all asked for in the wetlands application.
yeah.
I think we're getting some things through that aren't complete, that we gotta figure out how we.
Correct. Who's reviewing for completeness now? I mean,
I believe it's Reed,
okay.
so I'll just.
I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus.
And I have one other question, getting back to our Crescent Beach LLC. Just in the papers that I got, it looked like it wasn't the final approved SWIP. It's just a note that a SWIP was submitted. I'm assuming that's the actual, like, it's not signed by anyone else, it's just signed by the applicant's attorney, I believe. I mean, I'm assuming it's going through or it went through, but I just wanted to call that to your attention.
Town sign off on that.
If it did, I don't have that version. It looks like a copy the applicant filled out, and it has the date that they submitted it. It's an acceptance form, but it's only signed. Okay, so is it, if it's signed by our,
If Joe signed, yeah, then it's accepted.
that's accepted, okay. All right,
That's an acceptance. So the SWIP has been accepted.
Yeah, by town.
that's as far as it has to go, just that's it, or Joe for
Sure,
now?
right.
Yeah, and then that means then they go back to the DEC and then the DEC, here it is, the last page or the last 2 pages.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was,
DEC even lists Joe as
yeah, okay.
contacted. That's all I have. Do you guys have anything else for this meeting? Anything you want to talk about?
We talk, one thing we received was a potential planning board person. Is that something we do in?
We don't really discuss those. I mean, it goes in from the town board.
They do the hiring.
And
Yeah, we interview. I think we're trying to set up an interview for next week.
Great, cool.
How many
on Monday or Tuesday, please.
people you got interviewing?
We've only got one application, so if you guys know of anybody, please.
I suggested one person who was interested.
Okay.
For some reason, I thought there was 2.
That was from me,
Oh,
Um,
and
We've only
the
received
person's a
one
real
formal
estate broker,
application.
right?
Yes,
yes.
yes.
I'm not sure.
The
Answer.
person I recommend, I just suggested they have to go through the formality of submitting everything. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone out in Zoom land, do they have anything for us? Guess not, so I make a motion to close the September 13th planning board meeting.
I'll second that. I'll second that.
All right. Thank you, Coco.